But anyways, I'm in the studio here with Braden, and this is the podcast called Young Entrepreneurs. And so Braden is a member of the Founders Club who has kind of started his own bug spray company. And so I can kind of have Braden talk about a little bit about his experience and kind of how he got to where he is a little bit. So going from high school to college, and then kind of how you were an entrepreneur, meaning if you did anything.
Okay, well, I kind of have a extensive past going back through high school and middle school. So back in 2009, I guess, whenever I was seven, first grade, I was diagnosed with leukemia. So I had my first bone marrow transplant in Emory, and then I had my other three at St. Jude. So that's kind of my so given that I didn't really go to school full time back in middle school and kind of parachuted back in elementary school, kind of parachuted back in fourth, fifth grade, didn't really go back full time to school in probably seventh grade. So my high school career was a little different than most people my age. So I was going to class in high school, but none of my grades were going towards a GPA. So I eventually got my GED after college. So I took a gap year in 2020 and got my GED that year. And so during that gap year, I started my own bug spray business. So I was up late one night and the air conditioning was out upstairs. And so I went downstairs to sleep on the couch. And so once I got downstairs, there's a mosquito flying around the room. And so, for some odd reason, at 3 o'clock in the morning, or whatever time it was, I thought there's got to be some sort of natural remedies out there that repel mosquitoes, flies, gnats, and that sort of thing. Turns out there are. So all my product is tap water and natural oil, just in a little plastic spray bottle, shake it up, spray it on you, and it works just fine. When I told my mom and my brother about it the following morning, my little brother said, well, you should call it All Natural BS for bug spray, and my initials, Brennan. So that's kind of the namesake for it. Kind of had the idea back then, but I didn't really do a whole lot with it until these last 2 summers. I actually decided, I've got something, people enjoy it. So I got into a bunch of stores around Augusta, and then that was the summer of 2023, I guess. And so this past summer, I really worked on expanding it more. Got my LLC business license and my own online Shopify store, which did fairly well. I enjoyed doing it. So granted that I am the maker, the seller, and the marketer, it can be a little overwhelming sometimes, but I do enjoy it. Granted, once you do create those websites, all of a sudden you think that, oh, people are going to start coming to you. It's kind of what we learned in our last guest speaker, but you actually have to go do the workout and find your customers. Not like if you build it, they will come. At the same time, you got to build it, and then you got to go find your customers. That was kind of my marketing was probably need some improvement on that, but that's kind of the gist of it, I guess.
You talked about how you have to do all three. Have you ever thought about
hiring someone?
yeah, for like either production or
I have, but I just don't know how I would pay them. Is kind of my the thing I don't know about. I'd be love to hire my brother. So I have a little brother. He's a senior at South Carolina. He and I are really close, but I just don't want someone working pro bono for me. I don't know if I would pay them hourly or through commission or whatnot, but I'm not kind of to that stage yet to where, like I said, I'd love to have somebody, but I just don't want someone. I would like to be able to pay them and not bankrupt my company.
so could you, if you wanted to, could you do like a distributor, meaning if you want it to be in large quantities?
I haven't really thought about that. Still kind of in the beginning stages. I need to probably talk to some people who are in that business to see if they can help me out with that. But I thought about it, but I don't know how I would get that, how I would do that.
Has this kind of been the only business venture, or has there been others that you've?
This is, yeah, my only personal business one. I'm into baseball cards and football cards and that sort of thing, but that's kind of more of a hobby than it is a business. And granted, there's a lot of money in that field, but yeah, probably my first business that I've really ever ventured in, started, that sort of thing.
So if we're kind of looking ahead, what do you see is kind of happening? Do you think that this is kind of gonna be your main focus, or do you think that there's gonna be other businesses or whatever?
Probably my main focus. I haven't thought of any other businesses I'd like to start. Obviously, it seems like most people with entrepreneurships, they like to build up a company, sell it, then start something new. It's kind of what our professors have seemed, our their strategy has been. At the moment, I guess I haven't really thought about that. If it's kind of, granted, it's this time of year, well, starting to get into the bug season, but mainly the summertime is my main business. And so I don't know. So I probably would have to do something in the winter and the fall as well as the bug stuff.
So, well, I think I was trying to ask, like, what happens if
Oh,
if
sorry.
it doesn't work out? Meaning, like, if you don't, if it's an idea that doesn't work out, then you go, well, I have another idea, and
Mhm.
so it's kind of start from your other idea.
I guess I haven't never really thought about that.
So, now you stumped me. You can. I'm not limiting this to like one thing. I mean, we can kind of be open with whatever is kind of on our minds in terms of entrepreneurship or just as a whole. I mean. I started it because I've for years I've been listening to Guy Raz, he's a very well-known radio host who does he interviews a lot of successful people who have started multi businesses or multi-value businesses, and so I kind of said, hey, why don't I, since I have the opportunity in school, kind of start it and see if it'll either get a footing or just as an idea and toy around with it and go, hey, I tried this in college and it didn't work out. It's supposed to going, I should have done it, but I didn't.
I gotcha. Yeah, probably is a good thing to say. I'm glad I started it and failed and never done it before.
That and also, I mean, I thought about it last night and I went, hey, if I can actually, because my thing was I asked MJ and I said, hey, do you know anybody who could do video? And he said no. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm sorry, but, I don't want to go have to pay somebody $100 or whatever, or $50 an hour to do a video for me. If I have to learn it, okay, I'll have to learn it, even if I don't really have the equipment to learn it, or I mean to record it on.
Get what you're saying?
I mean, even I want to start kind of a eBay version of vinyl. I don't know if I have to go. I mean, I've asked around some of my friends, and they said, "Well, do you have a platform or whatever for coding?" And I go, "No." And now I'm going to have to learn coding or whatever to start it.
Well, you could always start with Wix, which is that helps build websites and that sort of thing. I don't know if you've ever looked at Wix or not, but they're AI thing that helps you build your websites for e-commerce stores and whatnot. I use Shopify as my online store, but I guess you kind of want to use your own thing instead of Shopify as your retailer, so to say. But
How does it kind of work? Meaning, do you actually have to supply the material and then you actually have to ship it out yourself versus having a third party shipper?
I ship it all out myself. Like I said, I bottle it, mail it, and ship it all myself. Once a quarter, yeah, an order comes in, I see their how many bottles they want, I print out the shipping label, put it in a poly mailer, then I drive it up to the UPS store.
So is that kind of every week or is that every kind of other week?
Whenever I get an order in, I don't orders weren't coming in all the time, so it's whenever I get an order.
My thing is that since I've done a lot of it, meaning I've gone out and bought all the vinyl myself, some of it is do I keep some of it for myself or do I go, no, this is only business focused and let's sell a lot of the inventory and just like go we'll do pleasure over business later.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of the same thing. Like I said, I'm into baseball cards, so I guess it's somewhat similar to that, to where you can either collect it, hold on to it, or sell it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how vinyl, if they appreciate or depreciate over time.
I think they've mostly been appreciating because most people don't listen to CDs as much.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's been a resurgence of vinyl and record players. Yeah. So kind of looking down the pipeline, so to speak, after college, what is kind of the goals or the ambitions after school?
I haven't quite looked that far ahead yet, trying to get through junior. I'd like to. I love Charleston, love going to school here, but it's kind of a lot of people here, and so I think I probably don't know if I'll move back home to Augusta or move somewhere else. But outside of like job and work wise, into sales, and I like that a lot for my bug spray. So if I really get this going to something, I may just do this full time, or if I may get into go look at other jobs and do it on the side. But maybe if I keep eventually doing it and work at another job, I can eventually grow it enough to where I can quit that job and do it the bug spray full time.
So that's kind of the big picture, so to speak.
I think so.
Or at least that's the hope if you can either scale it or get it to where you want it to be
Exactly.
so that it's kind of a self-sustaining business or self-sufficient.
Yep.
Did you play any sports in high school?
I was play golf still, and then I was on the shotgun team in high school.
How did those turn out?
I play golf, and I still like to hunt. So I was on the shotgun team for to my junior year. Then it got a little serious, so I stopped doing that. That was in the fall, and then I played golf in the spring, uh obviously till senior year, and then COVID hit, and that kind of shut it down for our golf team in the spring that for 2020.
Which one did you kind of enjoy more, or is it kind of a mix of both?
I don't know. I guess the golf team. A lot of the on the shotgun team was getting up at 7:30 in the morning and going to different. 7:30 on a Saturday, which is always never much too much fun to get up super early on a Saturday. But I guess I don't know which one I would say I enjoy more. Both those things are kind of stuff you can do until you can. It's not like playing football or baseball or basketball. It's like once you're out of college and don't go professional, it's not like you can still do that full time, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More of a hobby than they are. I guess they're just fun hobbies to do.
Did you watch the hockey game last night?
No, I did not though.
Uh,
I guess Canada kind of had a right to be pissed off at us.
they did, and they kind of the I heard that the two brothers, they kind of staged it.
No, I didn't know
They
about
did
that.
they did it they did it three times at the beginning of the of the hockey game. They started kind of like physically beating up each other or whatever on the rink.
Oh, on the same team? Just kind of.
Yeah,
Oh,
at the
interesting.
beginning of the game, there's three times, and I'm like, oh, this has got to be interesting.
Not much of a hockey fan, but I heard about the aftermath of it. So I guess if our president is threatening to make him the 51st state, then I wouldn't be too happy with some of us.
No, but anyways, speaking on kind of that aspect, meaning I know that at least for me, when we kind of had our president, I was kind of either in high school or whatever. But now that we're kind of adults, what do we kind of think is gonna happen? Meaning, is it gonna be positive, or is it gonna be, hey, we get a lot of tariffs and it's gonna hurt either the small businesses or just businesses as a whole?
Well, nothing about the president really screams at, I want to unify the country. He's like, I just want to make my friends richer and I don't really care about anybody else, is kind of what it seems like. But the tariff and stuff is definitely that I don't really think he understands the fact that they don't hurt the country, they get passed on to the consumer, where if there's a if if there's a 10% tariff on um I can't remember how it works, but if how the company can either eat that dollar, eat that dime, or they pass the dime on to the consumer, and they typically pass that dime on to the consumer. Um, yeah, but I guess we do have three different separation of powers branches of government, and
Yeah.
not one is supposed to be more powerful than the other. But it seems like the guy in charge right now is forgetting the fact that there are two other branches of government, and they have co-equal powers than he does. Like he just quoted Napoleon yesterday, and let's hope our fate doesn't end with us invading Russia.
And I heard somewhere that Trump wants to go and reclaim the Gulf of Mexico.
It's already on Google Maps.
Is it really?
Google Maps, it's Gulf of America. I don't know if you check that out or not.
I haven't. That, and also he wants to go claim Canada too.
Yeah, that's why I would say the Canadians kind of have a right to be pissed off.
I don't really think that that's gonna happen.
That and Greenland, I don't see the point in it, even though I think Denmark or someone is kind of the government over Greenland and said that we will not be the 51st state of the United States.
That, and also the fact that
But it's like how we're more, but that sure really is going to help bring down the price of gas. Being focused on naming Canada the 51st state is really going to help our gas prices.
it's not, because it mess up our system of government, because Canada is like a I don't really know what type of
Well,
government.
they're democracy, but they're got their insurance. They know how to correctly take care of um their golly citizens with their universal insurance to where they don't have to pay much for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of odd for me because I have a lot of business ideas and I can kind of think about how to go about things, but it's a matter of like, hey, if you don't have the right connections, then it's like kind of pointless to have that idea.
Yeah, it kind of seems that way. That it always helps if you're born into the right family.
Well, meaning if you want to go start let's say an air freight company for luxury cars, but you don't know anybody in the aviation industry, meaning if I don't know anybody who owns, a 737 freighter and I want to go help or I want to go ship Range Rover's cars over from England to the United States as a luxury freight service, then it's kind of pointless because you don't have a point of contact
Yeah,
to go reach out to the manufacturer and go, hey, we can offer you a service, but yet we don't. But yet you're gonna have to pay us a commission as X company to fly over with your freight, so to speak.
I guess I haven't know. You interested in supply chain stuff?
I am.
Obviously, that seems to be a popular major here, but I guess I never really thought about supply chain topics.
I mean, I've also thought about kind of like a shipping business too, but I've been like, if I was to go buy a boat, it's at least $2 million a vessel or for
Uh,
a ship.
yeah, I guess there really isn't much starting out in those companies. Kind of got to work your way up to the top, I guess.
Yeah. Have you looked at the stock market or anything at all?
But not really. I guess most people my age probably real invest in it. I have some money that I do not in control of, but being invested for me, but I don't do it personally.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah,
That,
you let people who know more about it be in charge of it.
yeah. Got anything you want to talk about?
Not really. I guess I was coming with this is my second podcast. My mom has one.
Really?
Yeah, so I not really. My experience in these sort of things really isn't too high. So I guess I just came if you had any questions. Personally, I don't have any other questions.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see it as just kind of
Conversation.
a conversation, but yet where it's kind of a free flow of, hey, if you're thinking one thing, we can kind of discuss it and vice versa.
Yeah. How many guests have you had? Am I your first, or have you had other guests?
This is like you're the fourth person.
Nice. Where can I find it? Spotify.
It's on Spotify. I tried to.
I've used Apple Music, so I don't. So I'm not much of a Spotify person.
Yeah. My thing was that I tried to upload it to create an account with Apple Podcasts, and they wanted me to pay them $20 per year to join their podcast membership club, and I went, really? And then yesterday I was on YouTube Music and I tried to upload it, and it said processing, but I couldn't really understand how it was gonna process or how it was gonna go into it.
Gotcha.
And then I created a YouTube channel, and then YouTube as well. You can't really take audio files and put them on. It's weird to explain. They have.
Well, couldn't you just record the video and then post it on YouTube? Like, see your GoPro over there. If you just record it and us talking, and then you can post it that way.
Yeah, my only thing with the GoPro is the fact that I can't. I've Googled multiple ways how to take the USB adapter that came with it, plug it into the MacBook, but it won't. Meaning, the GoPro will say that I've plugged it into the computer, but the computer itself won't register that it's been plugged into the GoPro.
Gotcha. You do all your own editing, or do you have someone do that for you?
I do all of it.
Nice.
I just use like a simple kind of audio software that I just clean up the speech and whatever else.
And you had a lot of fun doing this so far?
It's a mix.
Okay, what episode number is this?
4.
Nice.
But I mean, the hope is kind of to get it off the ground and see where it goes. Meaning, I've already reached out to our last speaker from Tuesday and said, hey, he's already gonna send me the book for free.
All right.
I don't know if you already know how
Yeah,
much that is.
I have the book, but I don't know how much they were.
It's like $15 on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm getting it for free. And then he goes, if you want to do the week of March 10th for the podcast, I'm like, okay. Just like, we'll kind of get connected on the first week of March and find a date. And then the other speaker from the one who did the rental properties,
Uh-huh.
I already reached out to him and said, hey, let's kind of do a time or something. But yeah, but Yeah, I think mine is just like I've already reached out to a person I know and said, "Hey, do you want to come on?" He's like, "I'm busy." I'm like, "Are you really?" Because I'm making time to reach out to you, but yet
Yeah.
you're not doing the same reciprocal. And I'm like, "Whatever, your loss, not mine." Yeah. Are you big in this? You're not big into sports, are you?
I'm big into college football, and then the only real professional sport I watch is baseball. I'm a big Braves fan, but I don't really care too much about the NFL or the NBA. I'm glad baseball's going to start up soon. I can, even though it's a pretty long season, I can sit down and watch a Braves game and just can't enjoy it, but don't really feel the same way about watching a Falcons or Hawks game.
Do you watch any F1 at all or no?
Not really.
I know that that's kind of also it's starting to gain popularity in the US because it's huge in Europe, but they built a track in Austin and they built one in Las Vegas, and so it's kind of it's taking its footing. But have you done any internships?
No, not really any at any big corporations or businesses, that sort of thing. How about yourself?
I haven't. I'm currently in the process of working on either an internship or summer job
Nice.
so that I'm not bugged by my parents. Go, hey, you're back from school. Let's get a job. Let's go get an internship with a company. Hurry up. Got to go do mock interviews. That's been my recent thing is my dad. He's gone, all right, you need to do mock interviews. Because I had a interview over when it snowed here. And the security guard, he comes knocking on the door and he goes, hey, we close at 4 o'clock. Hurry up and get out of here. And so I had to tell the person who's interviewing me, and she goes, "All right, no problem. Have a nice day." And I'm like, you as well. And so I had to like bolt out of the library because that was the only building that was open. I'm like, crap. And that was on a Tuesday too. Oh well.
They closed it. Oh, I guess it was the snow.
Yeah, it was kind of odd, but I'm like, okay.
All right.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing trades,
As in,
being a plumber or doing
um,
welding or whatever?
not really.
Is it just not appealing or just?
Just haven't thought about it, I guess.
I mean, even when I kind of before I thought about going to college, I'm like, hey, maybe I should do trades and kind of see if it would be worth it or just to try it out. I mean, I didn't, but now I kind of still look at people who do trades. I mean, even I looked at a guy who's in his, I'd say, 60s. He's like welding part of a fence. Yeah, I saw one guy. He had an angle grinder. He didn't even have a face shield on. Start grinding away the metal fence. Next thing I know, this guy with the welder on the ground starts welding at the fence, puts a face shield down, starts welding TIG welds. Like, you'll get paid a lot of money, but you gotta know what you're doing to not burn yourself with the
Yeah,
welder.
good point.
I mean, because that's honestly, that's kind of what I feel a lot of people, it's, hey, you look at somebody who works a blue collar job and you get home, you wake up early, you get home late, and it's kind of this, well, you don't do a quality job because you're working a labor intensive job. And so, versus if I'm to go work at an office and get paid a lot of money, you go, oh, you're doing a quality job because you're driving a nice car and you're
Uh,
not doing anything with your hands. You're just sitting behind a desk on a keyboard on a computer making money. Versus if I'm a plumber making 100, you would go, I can make more money as a plumber than I could if I was to sit behind a desk. And I get paid $80,000 a year. You know, $120,000 a year to sit behind that desk.
all right.
What are your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about career stuff. I'm not one of those people who likes to look too far ahead, just trying to get through school at the moment. Even though we had a talk in class the other day about trying to don't get distracted about looking too far ahead. You're kind of honing it down on something. So I kind of just personally just kind of take things as they come and haven't really thought about all these things you keep talking about.
I know that you're kind of the oldest out of the people that I've met. So, from your experience, what was kind of life like from 18 to 23, so to speak?
I don't know. I guess as being in college, a lot of people try new things, and that's in college, but they kind of can lose themselves along the way. Like, obviously, you're here to have fun, but at some point, you also want to get in your education because 4 years are going to go by fast, and you got to realize, oh shit, I got to make something.
Well, I mean, did you kind of realize when you turned 20 that this is kind of where I need to either do a lot of experiences or just realized, hey, I need to.
Kind of do the things I like to do. I've done some things and decided, that's not for me. Kind of always be open to meet new people, which I always open to do the things I like and always be open to different experiences and then kind of hone in on what you want to do because I think I'm starting to find that out now, closing in on senior year now.
Struggle at?
Classes I did okay with. Meeting new people is kind of a little bit of a struggle, even though that probably most people kind of feel the same way. I always was a little shy when it became to meet new people. But in classes, I feel like I got that under control okay. But I definitely would say putting myself out there and trying new things and meet new people because sometimes you always feel like you only want to stay in your room, but then you realize that you could have been meeting new people and trying some different things out.
Was it a matter of just going from high school into college and not really having those social skills developed, or was it just a matter of
Skills developed. The main thing is I spent a lot of my life around adults, and so I kind of just been more comfortable around older people than I have been around people younger than me or my age.
I feel the same way. My thing is, a lot of people, you're older, you have more experience, you can kind of learn from older people versus younger people. I'm not saying that at all. My thing is, like, just don't give me a bad vibe or a bad impression where you don't really have the skills. And so I'd rather learn from somebody who can kind of ask questions and go, hey, will this work and will this not work? So you don't have to waste, 5 years of your life going, oh, that actually doesn't work out. Has that kind of helped you with your business at all, or no?
I guess so. I guess the reaching out, I would say help with the business has actually helped me out in social life about how when you're in sales, you always have to reach out to people and sometimes you may never hear back, which can be kind of annoying, but I definitely think that has helped out with social life, being able to reach out more easily and being more comfortable with that.
Imagine with me, if you will, that let's say you're going to this big conference, okay?
Okay.
And so let's say Jeff Bezos is there, you have Mark Cuban, you have Kevin O'Leary. You have all these successful people who have a lot of money. And so you're at this venue. Which person would you approach and why?
I would say Cuban it seems more like a real person because if you kind of look at Bezos, he kind of seems like a robot. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I would probably Cuban seems very personable and not as intimidating as O'Leary.
You stumped me for Arthur Blank for the Home Depot.
I guess I've never really thought about. I guess Home Depot could be a client. I kind of like the physical stores, easier to deal with than the e-commerce stores are actually easier to deal with because it's a lot more face to face and you can go physically drop it off at the store. So I think I would rather have the Walmart, the Walton family, the Home Depot to being able to drop it off there and for them to sell it. But granted, the profit margin probably will make more money on the e-commerce store, but I do enjoy the face-to-face interaction a lot with real physical stores, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. So have you ever thought about opening your own small store in Charleston and kind of advertising your product, so to speak?
Not really. I don't think I have enough variety of products. I kind of just have the one thing. So I don't feel like having a shop and selling one thing would be very effective.
Could you ever reach out to somebody who owns a store and owns a actual physical store and say, could you put it in my store and kind of I'll pay you whatever you want, meaning a small fee?
Usually, what I do is when I sell to a company, like if, say you're a store, tell them I have this bookstore business and I typically sell it to a client for, um, $10, but I'll sell it to you for 5 or 6 because obviously you got to make a profit off of it. And then if it does well, maybe we can negotiate a little more, negotiate from there and see how it goes. Kind of how I sell to them for about $5, so they got to make a profit off.
They don't pay you a royalty, correct?
No, they just usually just send me a check in the mail, and then that's how it works.
So have you kind of thought about it just as, hey, let's keep it in Georgia and Charleston, or have you kind of thought let's expand either to the West Coast or just up along the East Coast as well?
I'd be happy to expand it, but like I said, I'm kind of I like to have people working for me in order to do it that far. Because when I'm doing it on my own, I think I'd probably get overwhelmed with having to deal with too many clients.
Now, would you want people who actually have experience, or do you kind of want people who are your age who you can kind of tell them what to do and kind of say, hey, go out and do this if you live in XYZ state?
If they were working for me,
Correct.
yeah, probably people my age. I feel like it'd be kind of weird if I had people 10 years older than me working.
Well, I mean, if they had the experience and they were 10 years older, I'd be like, okay, sure. If you have the experience and you live in one state that really has a lot of potential and growth, and you were able to give me guidance, I'd say, okay, here's my product. I know you're very well at one area, kind of take it and expand it into different states, so to speak, if that's what you're really good at doing.
Yeah, I would be up to that. Be open to that.
Now, theoretically, because I don't know, maybe this might happen to you, maybe it might not. Would you be really excited if you, let's say, somebody in the Founders Club is really good at expanding a company? Would you be really happy? Meaning, if there's one speaker that comes in the rest of the semester who's really good at scaling a business, would you go up to them and go, hey?
That's what. Yeah, it happened. I did that last week with I don't know if it was in my class or in guest speaker who helped. Yeah, because he helped branch companies that made $2,000 a year, which is kind of where I am, into branching it into larger business. So that's why I was happy to hear from him all last week. So I was very open to talking to him about how you grow your business from small profits to larger profits. But but I don't know. At the moment, I buy all my bottles and oils off of Amazon. But I don't know if the larger I grow my business, if I actually find a company that a natural oil company or a bottling company that could be a client of mine and to help me for bottling, if that makes sense.
How do you do it for, meaning, do you have to buy everything personally, or do
Yeah,
you do it off of, well, I mean, do you do everything where it's out of your own pocket, or do you do it out of the expenses of the company?
out of those, I have the expenses of the company.
And so do you reimburse yourself, or is it kind of, hey, I've already paid for, let's say, $10 of bottles, and that's it. So I don't pay myself the $10 expense.
Yeah, I have my own business bank account, so I deposit the checks into that, and then I use the my business debit card to buy supplies and that sort of thing.
So how does it work in terms of taxes? Is it a lot of
I get my parents to help me out with that. They have a bookkeeper person who helps them with their taxes stuff, so I gave them my income sheets or whatever, and then they took care of that part for me.
the W-9 forms?
Yeah, and then on Shopify I get billed monthly, and I see what taxes I paid for that.
Now, kind of going off of the Shopify platform, so to speak, if you had to do your business again, would you use another platform that wasn't charged monthly or had a fee attached to it?
I could create my own website using whatever technology and then and that way I don't have to pay a fee every month for using their services.
So do you kind of see it as not really beneficial to to have every month to having to pay $60 for a website?
You repeat that?
Meaning, if you look overall and you go, I have to pay $60 for a website every year, and then you look at it, you kind of go, it's not really worth it to go pay $60 versus if you didn't, so to speak.
No, I guess I haven't thought about it. I enjoy the platform and I don't feel like what I'm paying monthly is very detrimental.
On our guests come on,
Thank you for having me.
of course.
We kind of covered various different topics
I know we
today.
did, but that's kind of episode 4, and so thank you for joining us and